Hello and welcome to the special exhibit Bidirectional Charging at the Smarter Europe here in Munich. Bidirectional charging is a hot topic here in Munich because the millions of electric cars on our roads can be a huge buffer for the electricity grid, and not just for that. The batteries in electric cars can also be used to supply domestic grids or power individual devices, called vehicle-to-home or vehicle-to-load. A good example can be found here at the stand. This electric car, for example, powers 3 workstations and a coffee machine. We are here at the booth of the Mobility House, a leading charging service provider, and I'm talking to Valentin, Head of Product. Hi, Valentin.
Hi.
What are you doing when it comes to bidirectional charging?
So what we are doing is basically we are providing the full service package there. So we are providing the connectivity to the car, the aggregation of the single cars to one basically big battery plant. We're trading them, so we're really going on the intraday markets and trading the flexibilities there. And then in the end, if we need to charge or discharge a car, we're also send these single charge plants to the car that in the end also the mobility needs of the users are ensured.
Okay, and you have a new project or product already in France. What is that about?
Yes, so we just recently launched together with Renault and the subsidiary Mobilize the first commercial V2G product in Europe. And what we are basically having there is with the new modern Renault 5, you can now enable V2G. And this was something, the first car of Renault, and all further cars of Renault will also have that functionality. You need that power box and a Mobilize energy contract, and then you can earn with every hour you plug in your car up to 11 cents per hour.
Okay. Interesting. Why is that possible in France and not in Germany?
So yes, bidirectional charging is somehow simpler in France due to mainly 2 reasons. Number 1 is they have a high availability of smart meters, and number 2 is that they have a legislative environment that allows V2G. So what we are doing there is we get exempted from taxes and grid fees for stored energy, and this now leverages the case of V2G.
And what about Germany? What are your activities when it comes to bidirectional charging in Germany?
We definitely also want to launch in Germany bidirectional products. Right now we are hoping for the new government to really do what they promised in the coalition paper, enable V2G, make it an attractive case, and also bring the digitalization of the energy sector forward.
Very good. Valentin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
You're with Smarten, an industry association. What are you doing?
So we are the association representing the flexible demand management industry, which means we represent companies that enable demand-side flexibility. So consumers, either private or industrial, should be able to adapt their electricity consumption in accordance with external signals like pricing, like availability of renewables. So for example, vehicle-to-grid technologies, smart use of also building assets like heat pumps, etc. But also on larger scale industrial installations. Basically any business model that allows consumers to adapt their electricity consumption dynamically.
And what are you doing when it comes to bidirectional charging?
So we represent our members that are in our e-mobility task force in Brussels, which work on smart and bidirectional charging, and we represent them towards the European institutions, towards the Commission, towards the Parliament, towards the Council, and we try to work towards a policy environment that is conducive to the deployment of bidirectional charging.
In Germany, there has been a long discussion about bidirectional charging, and one could get the impression that things are not moving forward. What are you doing about that?
So I can't talk too much to the specificities of national markets, but indeed there is a lot of different obstacles in different markets. I would say that we're not as far out as we think. There's a lot of movement. Just the other day, Renault, for example, launched its first fully bidirectional capable model, so we see a lot of movement coming up. But there are still different blockers. So for example, in Germany, one to mention would be the role of smart meters, which is lagging behind a bit, and obviously you need to measure the electricity flows from and to the car properly. So indeed there are some blockers still. and they differ from member state to member states, but they're in the process of being addressed. And we see some promising first steps already at European level. We have the Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Regulation and the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive, which for the moment only mandates smart charging, but there is evaluations and assessment of bidirectional charging going forward and the possibility to mandate it maybe in the future. We see the Commission is looking into changes to type approval, so to vehicle standardization, in order to maybe mandate certain capabilities for onboard chargers in regards to V2G. So we see movements, and we are optimistic that we're not as far out as some people may believe.
Okay. And what would you say, who is leading the way when it comes to European countries?
Oh, it's very hard to say in terms of like national markets have different situations, but I would generally say the leading e-mobility markets. You know, in the UK, for example, there's quite an advanced policy framework, but also in the Nordics. So these are the markets that lead the way, just because also e-mobility is much more developed there in general.
And do you have a message for the new German government?
Yeah, move forward, put the right conditions into place, make sure smart meter rollout happens, place incentives, build out renewable energies, make sure electric vehicles are sold in appropriate amounts, make sure the standardization framework is implemented quickly, ISO 15118-20 for example, what other blockers are there, make sure that we have network tariffs that reflect the cost so that users can actually profit from charging when there's more renewable energy, cheap renewable energy, and then give electricity back to the grid when it's not available. So basically, yeah, create a conductive policy framework for V2G as a matter of urgency, continue the work you're already doing in the Coalition of the Willing, and make sure that we get there quickly.
Okay. Thomas, thank you very much for all these insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Carsten.
You're a project manager at ByCCS. What do you do?
We do bidirectional charging. We enable the charging in both directions in our project BCCS, Be Direct Now, together with our project partners. We got OEM, Volkswagen in the project. We got a multiple of DSOs in the project and charge point producers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what is so special about this car here now?
About the car, there's nothing much special. It's a serious car. You can buy it on the market, but it is bidirectional charging ready. That means you can charge and discharge your car. What we provide for you with our system, we ourselves understand ourselves as the aggregator, the smart charging service provider, who's gathering all the relevant data in order to calculate the smart charging profiles, the so-called schedule, which we send to our partner Wallbox, in this case EVTech, which enables the process of bidirectional charging. That means we discharge the car according to user preference, time of departure, when are you leaving the spot, according to market prices, and to electricity grid operator needs. That means we work with resilience services. We provide ancillary services to the grid operators and system stability.
And then Mark explains that ByCCS is also working on Redispatch 3.0 using bidirectional charging. This means that many electric cars will start charging ahead of a congestion point in the grid, storing the energy that can no longer be transported. At the same time, many electric cars behind the bottleneck will feed their electricity back into the grid. This should help to avoid curtailment of wind and solar power in the future. There are already 1.7 million electric cars in Germany, and in Europe there are over 5 million. That's an estimated capacity of 300 gigawatt hours. This gigantic potential can solve many problems of our energy industry and pave the way for more solar and wind power in our grids.